two young African refugees and former child soldiers are spreading their musical stories with the help of some impressive backers, including the man they call Australia's Bob Marley, Paul Kelly. Known as the FLYBZ, the young men have had little education but a lot of life experience, and Cheryl Hall met them.
He's been around, he's a child soldier. Sing hell itself, he's a child soldier. Things are rough for the child soldier.
I was just amazed because when Paulie taught us Paul Kelly, we didn't know who's Paul Kelly, so we didn't really care much. But then the teachers, like all these old people, like from my teachers to older people, they be like, Paul Kelly's Bob Marley in Australia, man. He's legend.
I'm now going hard, keep my name alive. Playing card games, I can see them through my eyes.
FLYBZ and his nephew G-Storm are refugees from the civil war in Burundi and neighbouring Rwanda. FLYBZ's parents were killed when he was 8. At 11, he was given a gun and trained to be a child soldier.
I was just 11 when I became a soldier. Bullets in my hand and a gun on my shoulder. Being a schoolboy, but being meant to kill. I didn't like my life, but I just had to deal.
Marley and now Paul Kelly are their heroes. Another Melbourne musician has been their mentor. Paulie Stewart, a member of the Dilly All-Stars and formerly the Painters and Dockers, has introduced them to a society far more privileged than their own.
We say to the boys in the Xavier class, how old are you guys? And they go, 12 or 13. And I go, oh, so you're old. Because when FLYBZ was 11, they came to his class, said, tall boys stand up, you and you. There's a gun, there's some bullets, there's a little bag of rice. Hear the artillery, march that way, shoot anyone you meet.
Down on me if I'm poor. You can't take your riches knocking on the heaven door.
The music that we do is pretty much covering what, like, how life can be hard for others. I've seen many Aussie kids here, they go to markets, they go sleep. Maybe even if they watch a TV and see all these ads talking about, you know, people dying there, they go like, that's Hollywood movies and stuff. But they don't realize it's real. It's really happening. So our music is just to make the people out there see what's going on, to put it in live, to show them that there are people who's dying out there because there's no food. While here we're throwing food.
We keep on going like a soldier, man. Make you understand until you overstand.
I see our students change almost in the space of a 45-minute lesson. They have preconceptions, and a lot of the press that we see on television isn't great. But you know, to actually meet a refugee firsthand and listen to a refugee's story, it certainly breaks down all of those sayings that they hear in the press about, you know, send them back to where they came from, let's stop these boats and all that sort of stuff.
FLYBZ gets mobbed in the schoolyard there, and I'm just so proud of him that he's, you know, these guys have only learned to speak English a couple of years ago, and here they are at Xavier, obviously a very reputable school, doing rap classes.
FLYBZ and G-Storm, known as the FLYBZ, launched their first album this week. Next month they'll go back to Burundi for the first time. They'll try to find some of their siblings and they'll play some of their music.
The vehicle of hip-hop, you know, is the vehicle now that young people in Australia really turn to get their musical fix nowadays. And the fact that the boys' raps and messages, they're not, you know, about bitches and bling like the American stuff, which I find pretty boring actually, but their stuff is really individual and it's their own stories, and that's why they're a class above the rest.
He's a child soldier, yeah.
It was a community football game that put the boys in contact with Paul Kelly, and the Artful Dodger Studios, run by the Jesuit Social Services in Collingwood, that's provided the recording venue. Jesse Hooper was a member of the hit teenage band Killing Heidi.
Paul just added some, you know, the experience of, you know, being such a great performer. The FLYBZ and Fab and G, you know, are very young and they've been performing a lot recently, but really, you know, they're still beginning this journey. And to have someone like Paul come in, who's a super experienced and revered songwriter, come in and add that layer of, you know, cream on the top, it just sounds fantastic. And I think it'll really add a huge dynamic to their album, and also, you know, perhaps turn a few heads that wouldn't have listened to their music previously. Hopefully you know, the sky's the limit with these guys because they're very passionate. They take it very seriously, and next year we're going to be, you know, putting out the song that Paul played on, and they're also going to continue going to schools and talking about their journey. They go to schools and talk about multiculturalism and coming to Australia through refugee camps.
They've actually made me fall in love with Australia again, just because, you know, the way they, you know, just love being here. And, you know, they said to me recently, oh, we saw that show Q&A, you know, have you seen that show? And I said, yeah, what about it? And they said, like, you can make fun of a politician in Australia to their face and they don't take your family away in the middle of the night. How good is that? And I went, that's pretty bloody good, actually, yeah.
Our goal is trying to get the people, the world, a better place. We're not trying to say that we be our heroes, but it's worth trying. Look, Bob Marley did something that, you know, everyone that remembers him. We've got our inspiration from Bob Marley, Lucky Dube, all these people who was, you know, fighting for peace and fighting for freedom. So for us, we know where we came from, we've seen where we came from, we see what's going on around the world. So it's a time for us to make a change.
We all say, let me hear you say, yeah, 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 yeah.